And my two guests, Elder
Shadaniah ben Yisrael.
Elder Aharon ben Israel. Shalom.
Shalom. First off, I want to apologize for, I didn't want to mislead anybody. When the last show went off, I was mistaken. There's not going to be a second part of Voice of Our Father, Israelite History, but this show is unfolding scriptures and Israel and the identity crisis. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out in case you have a log or you're keeping track of the different shows. And I just want to thank my guests for coming in tonight and offering some insight on the scriptures. So, Elder, you had a point.
What I wanted to do was turn to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. The identity crisis of our people is that they don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. And in not knowing who you are, you tend to gravitate to things that don't pertain to you in any shape, form, or fashion. Mm-hmm. You follow things, you grasp for straws. Mm-hmm. But I want to read something here. Mm-hmm. Deuteronomy 28, starting at verse 36. Now, we know that the Father made a covenant with Israel.
Okay.
This covenant or contract we call the law, or the law of Moshe, because Moshe was the administrator of this law at the beginning, when it was given to Israel. Now, a contract has certain rules and regulations or certain stipulations. And here, Deuteronomy 28 is called the blessings and the curses. So we want to read one of the curses. Deuteronomy 28:36. It says, this is if you break or disobey what the Father wants you to do. It says, Yeshua will bring you and the king whom you set over you to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you will serve other gods, wood and stone. And you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations where Yahweh drives you. Now, we know what a byword is. That's anything anybody wants to call you, or anything that you want to call yourself, except what you really are.
Absolutely.
Also, let's go down to 45, because this is important, very important to listen to this. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of Yahweh your El, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants forever. Huh? On your descendants forever. Because we are the descendants of these people that are called the children of Israel. How do I know? Because these signs are upon us. Huh?
Absolutely.
But people want to argue with that. Huh? But let's go back. What it say? An astonishment. People wonder who you are. Oh, you come from Africa. Where now? There's 55 countries in Africa. Where you come from?
That's right.
You going back? Where you going? Who you going to? You go to Nigeria, they don't know you. Huh?
And you know what? That's very interesting. That a lot of our people, most of our people, in fact, have never really thought about this fact. And that fact is, above all the people that are actually walking on this earth, I don't just mean in this country, above all the people that liveth upon this earth, we are the only, and there are no exceptions, we are the only people that cannot respond to who we are.
That's right.
Because we have no knowledge of where our forefathers come from, what language did they speak, what country did they come from. We have no knowledge of that. Like Elder, you just stated, we say we're African American. Well, actually, we're talking about two different continents here, really. You say Africa, you say America. We're talking about Africa as a continent and North America as a continent, because
Right.
America's in North America. That's not the appropriate answer.
No, it's not.
We didn't ask you about two different continents. We asked you, who are you?
That's right.
What is your nationality? Where do your forefathers come from? We say we're African. Well, again, like you said, Elder, Africa is a continent that consists of 55 different countries or nations. So, which one are your forefathers from?
That's right.
Because those brothers over there that are in each country speak different languages.
Yes.
So, pick one.
That's right.
You can't pick one because you don't know. You have no idea. So, if I ask a Gentile or a Caucasian, anyone out there, walking the street, in an office, in a store, who they are, they can tell me their nationality, they can tell me the language of their fathers, the land of their fathers, they can tell me that. If I ask any Chinese person or any Oriental person, let's just say Oriental person, where did they come from? They can give me the language, they can give me the land, and they can give me many things about their culture. They can answer all those questions.
But you can't.
But us, can't do it.
Right.
Can't do it. And when I say us, can't do it, I not only mean who we call the black people in America, but I also mean the people that we call Puerto Ricans.
That's right.
Okay?
Cuba,
Now they can give you Cubans as well.
Brazilians,
But
all of them.
and it's not just them, it's basic throughout all Central America.
That's right.
For they are our people as well.
That's right.
Because they can give you part of their heritage.
That's right.
Yes, part of their heritage is that Spaniard from Spain.
That's right.
But prior to that, where were you?
That's right.
You know what? You didn't exist.
That's right.
You did not exist. So, we are the only people that cannot fully answer that. And the only people that can partially answer that are the brothers in Central America or in South America. Only they can answer part of that, but not all of that. So, well,
But remember now, it said, and they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants forever. Huh? But let's skip down to 58 and continue to read. It says, if you do not carefully observe all the words of this law that are written in this book, that you may fear this glorious and awesome name, Yahweh your El, then Yahweh will bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and prolonged plagues, and serious and prolonged sicknesses. Now, you cannot just overlook that. Our people are sick from head to toe with everything. Think about it. And it said, these will be a sign and a wonder upon you and your descendants. But listen to this. It says, moreover, he will bring you back on you. He will bring back on you all the diseases of Mizraim, Egypt, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. And also every sickness and every plague which is not written in this book of the law will Yahweh bring upon you until you are destroyed. You shall be left few in number, whereas you were as the stars of heaven in multitude. Didn't he tell Abraham he was going to make his descendants like the stars of heaven? But this particular part that held on to this contract, the Father cut us down. Huh? Then it says, and it shall be that just as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and bring you to nothing, and you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. Hey, you don't possess that land no more. You're not there.
Absolutely.
Remember, you and the land are one. You're tied together. You don't possess anything. Where your land at? Somebody on your land.
A lot of folks on your land.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right. That's right.
Do you know that you have a land, viewing audience? Do you really understand that? No, I don't think you do. Then Yahweh will scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other gods, whether neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. And among these nations you shall have no rest, nor shall the soles of your feet have a resting place. Do you have a resting place? Huh? You think so? But there Yahweh will give you a trembling of heart, failing of eyes, and anguish of soul. Oh, you don't think that's you? Look at it. A trembling of heart. Listen at this. It says, your life shall hang in doubt before you. You shall fear day and night and have no assurance of life. Do you have assurance of life?
No.
Do you? Look at the streets. Look at them.
No.
Look around you. In the morning you shall say, oh, that it were evening. And at evening you shall say, oh, that it were morning. Don't you feel like that? Don't lie to me. I know, because I'm you. I feel that too. Oh, that it were morning, because of the fear which terrifies your heart. Didn't the Father say he was going to give you a trembling of heart?
That's right.
That's right.
And remember, these are the signs on you. Nobody else got this but you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And because of the sight which your eyes see, and Yahweh will take you back to Mizraim or Egypt in ships, by way of which I said to you, you shall never see it again. And there you shall be offered for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. Tell me if that does not fit you and your ancestors. You are the descendants, and the sign is on you. You the tail, not the head.
Absolutely.
You have to borrow from everybody. You can't lend nobody nothing.
Absolutely.
You got nothing. You own nothing. You produce nothing. You are a consumer. And everything hinges off of you. Your community is ran dry. Your community is desolate. Who working in your community? You're not.
True.
I'm a realist. You got to be a realist. But we got a way out. Huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you don't want to take that way out. You want a rebellion. You want to pick up a gun. You want to go and fight. When the fight is not yours.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Huh? You don't know who your Savior is. Because you don't know who you are.
That's right.
Absolutely. Also, you know, too, as you began reading here, as you began reading here in verse 58, Yah says to us,
Yeah.
and said to our forefathers here, he said, if you do not carefully observe all the words of this law that are written in this book, he says, that you may fear this glorious and awesome name,
That's, hey.
Yahweh your El,
Hey.
then Yah will bring you upon you and your descendants. That means them, our forefathers, and us,
That's right.
who were not there. Extraordinary plagues. Now we begin to see how we make the attachment or get connected with what we call, even in the title of the show, crisis. We see crisis already, plagues. This is something that is synonymous with us in retrospect, because we see how often we fail the Father. So we see crisis being a name that is very synonymous with us. Is a word that is synonymous with our name, Israel. Because, like, again, in retrospect, we see that we failed him. And because we did, because we didn't do exactly what we just read, because we didn't do the things that the Father had prescribed for us to do, extraordinary plagues, great and prolonged plagues, serious and prolonged sickness. Moreover, he will bring back on you all the diseases of Egypt or Mizraim. These are the kind of crisis or crisis situations that is attached to us. For the Father knew ahead of time that we were going to fail. So that's why he gave us the good part and the bad part. As we read here, we begin to see all these things that are not only here as a sign and a wonder to identify a people who were then and who are now. Because these things cover all of the generations of Israel. And then, when you read verse 68, it says, and Yahweh will take you back to Egypt in ships. We know here the Father's not talking about actual physical Egypt, but we're talking about a place that represents Egypt.
That's right.
Long-term slavery.
Yeah.
Because that is, in Egypt, we had long-term slavery. But we didn't do anything to deserve that slavery. So there must be a place somewhere in the future, from what we're reading here now, that would represent or be like Egypt. But a place that is not Egypt. Because here it says, you will go back to Egypt by ships. First time we went to Egypt, we walked there on dry ground. But the next Egypt would be something that is synonymous with this Egypt here. Long-term slavery, but also someplace where we would get to by ships, or maybe we're talking about in the hull of ships. By the way which I said to you, Yah says, you will never see it again. What makes this so significant? Sure, there have been many people of other nations that have been taken away as slaves. Here or there, one here, one there. Here a few, there a few. But when we begin to see what's being said here in this passage, or in these passages, Yah is not talking about a few people. He's talking about the enslavement of a nation of people. That has never happened to anyone other than Israel. You never read in any history book anything about an entire nation being taken away in captivity. I've never, ever read that in no history book. I've read some people taken away as slaves, but never, never a nation of people at a time. That is what makes Israel, Israel, and different from all other people and nations, because we are talking about nations, a nation being taken away or enslaved. Look at us here. We have a nation. We have a nation of people that were taken away in what they call the Great American Slave Trade. Simply following up or picking up where this leaves off. Addition. You shall never see it again, and there you shall be offered for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. Read your caption on that Deuteronomy 28:68. I believe that it says something a little different in a lot of Bibles. It says, "And there you shall be offered for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves." What does yours say?
Man says, we when we start at 68.
Yeah,
Read all 68.
Right.
And Yahweh shall bring thee into Mitzrayim, or Egypt, again with ships. By the way wherefore I spoke unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Stop. Now, the reason why I had you read that is because, so the viewing audience will understand that if you say in the reading of your book, your Bible, it says, we shall be what? Sold.
Right.
That means that there was a transaction.
Yes.
Am I right, Elder?
That's correct.
That means that there was a transaction.
Yes.
If I read what I say here in this Bible, it says, and there you shall be offered for sale. This does not imply a transaction. It simply means that there's someone offered something to someone. But it does not mean the transaction was completed or something took place. This is what it initially said. And I said all of that to explain what I'm about to say. It says, you shall be what? Sold as what?
Male and female slaves.
So we know that a transaction did take place, an offer, and then there was an acceptance.
Right.
So something was bought. Someone was bought. Correct, Elder?
Correct.
Then it says, but no one will buy you. No one will buy you. And it says B-U-Y, buy you. We know that if it says in your Bible, does not say that in your Bible?
Buy you.
If it says that a transaction took place, something was bought, and then it says no one will buy you, obviously that sounds like a what? A contradiction.
Right.
It sounds like something wrong with that.
That's right.
But guess what? There is no contradiction.
That's
Why? Because this word buy here does not mean someone did not actually buy you,
Right.
as in a transaction. This word here, buy, reflects the fact that no one, and Yah is saying here, that when you are bought as slaves, taken away, sold as slaves, and bought, no one will lend a hand to help you or to assist
Or
you.
save you.
Or
Right.
save you, absolutely.
Did
That is
nobody
correct.
come over
And
and
no
say-
one lended, no one could prevent what happened to us in the slave trade.
No.
No one saved us.
Nah. Nah.
There was no one standing. I'm sure there was individuals here and there, one or two here or there, but no one stepped in.
Nah. No
Because
one mounted the charge.
Exactly.
to come
Because
get
this
you.
was foretold, and this was our what? This right here was our future.
That's
This
right.
is our crisis. This crisis was attached by the Father to Israel as a nation.
Right.
Something we had to deal with.
Then that means you shouldn't get paid then. Right? I mean, no, it sounds like a joke, but it's not. Because, so what you're saying is that we do wrong, we break the Father's word, He punishes, and we get paid. Huh? But we really do get paid now, but by the Father.
Yah has always said that He was what? Our reward.
Right. And He said what? If you do what? If you confess and accept your guilt. Ask for forgiveness for you and your forefathers and accept your guilt. Do me going to somebody telling them to pay me, do that sound like me accepting my guilt? No. This is a serious thing.
It is.
People make light of it, but this is serious. I'm not going to try to bind the Father's hand.
And you know something else, Elder? If you really look at what you just stated, if you examine that closely, in making the statement, if we confess the sins of ourselves
Right.
and the sins of our forefathers, now what's special about that? Because that's not typical. That's not normal, because our forefathers have gone.
Yeah.
So this seems to be a special case.
Sure.
We're confessing the sins of us and the sins of our forefathers,
Yeah.
because usually when we look at confessions, and so to speak, and making atonements and things like that, those things usually are important to the living.
Yes.
And we can't do anything to help another brother who has been gone 100 years ago or 200 years. What can we do for him? Or what significance does that have with us in respect as far as atonement is concerned? But in this case, apparently it does.
Yes,
Because
it
the
does.
Father says, if you,
That's
in other
right.
words, there's value to making confessions for someone who's deceased already.
That's right.
There's value in it, because ordinarily there is none.
Yeah.
Because he's had his life gone. What does your life have to do with his? Nothing.
That's right.
especially when you're talking about making an atonement. But in this case, obviously it is.
Right.
There's value in giving or making a confession for someone who lived hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
That sounds like a special case. But then again, Israel was a special case.
Yes. That's right. And you're here because of what they did.
Absolutely.
And your continuation is because of what you're doing. So
Absolutely.
therefore, it makes logical sense for you to confess their sins and yours, which you said something in the beginning, humility. Humility. Humble. Are we humble? No, we're not humble. We're boisterous. We're demanding. How is that humble? The Father said, humble. Huh? If you humble yourself, submit yourself willingly. That's what this is about. That goes a long way.
But Elder, what about those who understand that or believe that, or of the understanding that slavery was about a black and white issue, or slavery was a black and white issue? If slavery was a black and white issue, then slavery was not something that we can sit here now and say that this is an Israelite crisis, or this is our crisis, or a part of our crisis.
But
was it a black and white issue? No, it was not.
no, it wasn't.
Absolutely. But we think that it was. Slavery had nothing to do with black and white. It had everything to do with Yah and Israel.
That's
Business, contract,
That's
breaking of a contract, prophecy. It had nothing to do with black and white. Absolutely not. This didn't happen because we're black.
No.
But we think that.
Yes.
Again, when I see the world today, I see in this society, how we always say, we're the first ones to be fired and the last to be hired.
Right.
That's a crisis.
Yes.
That's something that befell us because we are who we are.
That's it.
Not a black and white issue again.
No. No.
It's because of who we are and where we are.
Yes.
It's a result of us being here.
Yes.
It's an issue between Yah and Israel.
That's
It's
it.
our business.
Well, so we have established that there is a breach in contract,
Yes.
and our forefathers breached their contract.
Okay.
That's correct.
So let's read where it all started in Exodus.
Well, let's go back and read.
Exodus
Exodus
24
Yep.
24.
and 1.
That's it.
4-1. Okay.
That's where it is.
So now that we've established that it's not black and white, it was between us and the Father, and
That's
a
it.
contract that had been breached.
Because, and one thing too, if it was a black and white issue, then it would be a black and white crisis,
Yep.
so to speak. If it's a black and white crisis, that means that all the other people of the world, even those who are not Israel,
That's right.
then it would then be also their crisis as well.
But it's
But it's not.
It is somewhat isolated
Absolutely.
and pointed toward a certain people.
But that's the misunderstanding
Absolutely.
that we have
Right.
because we know not who we are.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Exodus 24 and 1. And he said unto Moshe, come up unto Yahweh, thou and Aharon, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship afar off. and Moshe alone shall come near Yahweh. But they shall not come near, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moshe came and told the people all the words of Yahweh, and all the ordinances, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahweh have said we will do.
You said it.
And Moshe wrote all the words of Yahweh and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahweh. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and the half of blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the hearing of the people. This is deep stuff.
That's
this
right.
is some stuff right here.
That's right.
That the binding and the reading of these words can't even be expressed because this was what broke our back.
That's it.
Okay? Let me read 5 again. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me read 6 again. And Moshe took half the blood, put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant. He took the word and read in the hearing of the people. See, the blood was there to sign off on the covenant.
That's right, to seal it.
That's to bind the covenant.
That's it.
See, that's what, you know, this is some good stuff because
That's it.
that was that thing that was that contract.
That's it.
Okay? And the blood was significant.
That's
the same way
seal of
with
approval.
circumcision.
Yeah.
That blood is significant. That's what bound that contract.
A signature, like a signature.
That's
Yeah.
the signature or that seal.
That's it.
That's what the blood was for.
That's the seal of approval.
Right. So that's why the blood was put in the basins. In 7, he took the book of the covenant and read in the hearing of the people. And they said, all that Yahweh has said, we will do and be obedient.
That's
and
right.
they lied.
That's, hey,
That's it.
that's
okay?
it.
Which was a lie
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
face of the Most High.
That's
true.
it.
As this covenant was being put together or
That's it.
formatted. 8, and Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh have made with you concerning all these words. That's it. Bound together. And that blood being the life force or representing the life force.
Yeah.
Okay? And given to a people that maybe at that time they had good intention.
No, they didn't.
But
We know they didn't.
at the same time, it came out
Haphazard.
that we breached the contract
Yes,
as a
we-
people.
Yes, we did.
And that's where it started at.
Yeah.
But like we was talking earlier, it wasn't so much that there wasn't law before the law of the covenant. It's just that this law was put into motion to broaden the way of redemption. That's what that was one of Israel's main goals. And that's why we were brought about into existence too. Because the redemptive, the redemption in which we were to bring to the world, or help bring to the world as a people. And these are the things that are overlooked, and we take things for granted. We take on creative license with the word. But this is a serious mission
Of course.
that we was put on.
Hey.
That's why such a severe punishment was put on us, because redemption is not a joke.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Redemption.
And in order for you to take care of the Father's business, you have to be serious about His business and know what's to come about if you breach that contract.
That's it.
And this still stands to this day. And we got to understand that if it stands to this day, that there may be more mayhem coming on our heads. But we're going to touch on that later.
So see, this is one way we can actually describe Yeshua's mission when he came here. One word to describe it, and you can put all other words aside. And that one word is redemption.
That's it.
Redemption is the bottom line as to why Yeshua came here. Now, that word redemption, obviously, for us, but it's also redemption for the world.
Right.
That's it.
That word redemption
That's right.
is very wide and very broad. Redemption in that all men had a way or an opportunity to become saved.
That's right.
But also redemption because he was his kinsman redeemer.
That's right.
In that
That's
he
right.
redeemed us as a people in our everyday life. We're not talking about salvation now. We're talking about everyday life.
Yeah.
That's what the attitudes were. Giving you things to do and things that Yah expected for us to do in everyday living, like loving our neighbor. Everyday things to bring Israel to conform to his word, in that we will become a true nation. A nation that you have people who actually cared about one another and doing the right thing from day to day, on a day-to-day basis or day-by-day basis.
Because Israel have always been in some form of crisis.
Absolutely. And Israel has always
Right.
been, pretty much have always been rebellious.
Right.
So the Father
Right.
tried to
That's
get
right.
us. Yeshua said, I come what? I didn't come to I didn't even come. Yeshua said he didn't even come to everyone in Israel. He came on but only to the lost sheep of Israel. Because he wanted Israel to get their act together. Redemption. He wanted the world to get their act together. Salvation,
right.
which is redemption.
That's right.
So it's redemption no matter how you look at it.
That's right.
So it is serious.
But we were the vehicle in which to help bring and usher in that redemption.
Absolutely.
That's why it
this
was
given to
serious
you.
business.
Absolutely.
It's still serious business.
Absolutely.
And we are
Nothing's
still
changed.
breaching contract.
Absolutely.
Of course.
As a people.
As true.
But that's because we know not about ourselves.
That's right.
And we do not want to know about ourselves. When we went into the land to occupy it the first time, the Father told us, he said, do not inquire about how these people serve their God. But he said something before that. He said, don't think that I brought you into this land because of your righteousness. Understand, the Father understood that we were not righteous in the beginning. He said it was for the wickedness of the people of this land that I give it to you. Not for your righteousness, because you are stiff-necked people. And we are we're the offspring of those same stiff-necked, rebellious people. And we act like it because we don't want to know who we are. We want to serve what's here.
Absolutely.
We don't want to know about the Father. We want to know about everything else but the Father.
Again, Elder, a lot of people may not agree with this because they don't understand this. And what I'm about to say is, if we do not understand and do not know who we are, we cannot know, we will not know the proper way to serve the Father.
That's
because
correct.
we'll look at this law and we'll say that was for them,
Right.
not knowing that you are them And when this law was established, the Father said, this law is for you who are here today, Israel, and those that are not here.
That's right,
Which
that's
meant
right.
he was talking about future. Future always. Future until all things be fulfilled. So he was talking about not just Israel at that present, because at that point in time, all of Israel was in the same place.
That's right.
So, for them and for those that were not there. So if we as a people now do not know who we are, we cannot know how to serve the Father properly. A lot of people may not understand that or even agree with that, but it's a fact. When you do get to the understanding of who you are and what you're supposed to be doing, and you take the word serious, then you'll understand that.
Now, Elder, as you speak, it's just a word just in my head, and it's called fear. We don't have the fear of Yah. I'm going to read something. It says, thine own wickedness in Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 19. It says, thine own wickedness shall correct you, and your own backsliding shall reprove you. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing, bitter, and that you have forsaken Yah, your mighty one, and that my fear, what does that word fear mean? To shrink oneself, humble, to dwell with, to assemble with, to hide oneself in, to make mention of, to think of, ponder on, to fear, to do, is not in you, says Yah Sabaoth. Now, in Exodus chapter 20, verse 18, after the people were given the law, Yah did something. After they were given the commandments of the Father, Yah said in verse 18 of Exodus, it says, when all the people witnessed the thunder and lightning, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoked, they were afraid and trembled and stood at a distance and said unto Moshe, you speak to us, and we will listen. Do not let Yah speak to us, or we will die. Moshe said to the people, do not be afraid. He said, for Yah has only come to test you, to put the fear, that reverence of him upon you, so that you do not sin.
That's right. But continuing on where you left off in Jeremiah, let's go to the 11th verse and listen to this.
Jeremiah
2 and 11. It says, has a nation changed its gods? It says, which are not gods, but my people have changed their glory for what does not profit. Be astonished, O heaven, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be very desolate, says Yahweh, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and have hewn themselves cisterns, broken cisterns, that cannot hold no water. But let's go back to Deuteronomy 31. Start at verse 19. See, this is a profound thing that people are overlooking. And they've been overlooking it because they have not been taught who they are.
Right, that's right.
And this is a serious problem.
Very serious.
It says, now therefore write down this song for yourselves and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel, when I have brought them to the land flowing with milk and honey, of which I swore to their fathers. And they have eaten and filled themselves and have grown fat. Then they will turn to other gods and serve them, and they will provoke me and break my covenant. Ain't that what we did? Now, let's go down to verse, let's start at verse 28. Gather to me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their hearing, and call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death, this is Moshe talking, you will become utterly corrupt and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil will befall you in the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of Yahweh, to provoke him to anger through the works of your hand. Ain't that what we've done?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
Hey, what it say? Has a nation changed its God, which are not gods?
Absolutely.
That's us.
Absolutely.
If you don't think it's us, we gravitate to everything.
They say this, elder, is it's often said that this right here, this command that Yah gives, which is when you're talking about singing song.
Yeah, the song of Moshe.
Or
That's
the song
right.
of Moses.
Yeah.
They say this is the last law in the Torah. Is he commanded us to sing the song of Moshe.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to even look at was when we deal with the law, when we deal with obeying the law, we know that these commandments were given as instructions.
Yes.
And these instructions were to guide our minds so that we would know how to do certain things.
Yeah.
Now, in Proverbs chapter 8, it says in verse 32, "And now my children, listen to me. Happy are those who keep my ways. Hear instructions and be wise, and do not neglect it."
That's right.
Happy is the one who listens to me, watching daily at my gates. They did not say in the law that it says in chapter 6, verse 7, "You shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up." So how in the world is it that when it talks in Judges, where it says in chapter 2, verse 10, it says, "And also all that generation were gathered unto their father, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not Yah, nor yet the works which they have done in Israel." So, why did that happen? It says, "For whoever finds me," back in verse 35 of 8, "and whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from Yah. But those who miss me injure themselves." We brought it on ourselves.
Yes.
Absolutely.
"And all who hate me love death."
Yeah. That's why it said, accept your guilt, because it's your fault.
Ain't nobody else.
But elder, see, I think here what's important is in us thinking about our people as a whole, being ignorant to understanding who they are, they don't realize that we or that they have problems, or the problems that they do have, many of the problems that they have, they don't understand what they really are, because they don't understand who they are.
Yeah.
So they are in a crisis situation and don't realize that that crisis situation is applicable to them. Because here's the thing. When we don't observe, say for example the holy days, the festivals that the Father gave Israel, when we don't know that, when we think of ourselves as Gentiles, and we think of the Shabbat being on Sunday, we don't realize that we're in a serious crisis situation
Yes, we are.
that only is applicable to us, because we don't realize that this is what we're supposed to be doing.
That's it.
So you're in trouble and you don't know it.
Yes. Set him on fire.
You see? You're in trouble and you don't know it. So you're in a crisis situation because you are who you are, Israel. Because you're here as a result of slavery. You are a byproduct of slavery. And because you are a byproduct of slavery, you lack the knowledge and understanding. Did not Yah say that lack of knowledge, because of lack of knowledge, because there is a lack of knowledge, then my people are what?
Destroyed.
Are destroyed. Some people, you can't even talk to them about education. I say education, I mean simply learning the truth. Because they think that, well, okay, it's about being spiritual. Knowledge is one thing, being spiritual is another. Being spiritual is greater than knowledge. You know, having the Holy Spirit is greater than knowledge. Because we try to talk about how important knowledge and understanding is. People might not want to hear that because we're not talking about the Holy Spirit. We're not talking about being spiritual. But guess what? How do you become filled with the Spirit? By having knowledge. Because knowledge is what leads you to doing the right thing, because you know. So, if knowledge is important enough to destroy you, knowledge is important enough for you to be redeemed by.
That's
outside of Yeshua's blood. We know that we're not going there, but knowledge is the key. Knowledge is what makes you a spiritual person. Knowledge is what makes you perform the things that the Father wants you to perform. Knowledge is the thing that makes you do the things so that other people can see what you do, and other people can see that what? You bear the right kind of fruit. If you don't have the knowledge, how do you know what to do? Knowledge is the key.
Because the fear of Yah is the beginning of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Humble yourself.
Absolutely.
You can't, it's like a cup that got water in it.
That Holy Spirit thing,